What's going on, everybody? This is Temperature Check, and I am your host, as always, man, Mr. Check the Temperature, man. So, salute to y'all. Before we get started with today's topic, I must do what I always do, and that is thank each and every one of you individually and collectively for liking, commenting, and sharing and subscribing to the channel. And if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome. Have a seat. And how can you have a seat? Subscribe to the channel, of course. Almost at 100 subscribers. So, who's going to be that 100th person? Is it you? Is it you? Maybe it's you. Let's see it. Um, so yeah, at 100 subscribers, definitely appreciate all the support that I'm getting on this page. Continue to do so. Also follow me on all social media platforms. Mr. Check the Temperature. You can DM me with questions and comments and concerns. I will definitely get back to you. I'm having a lot of fun in doing so. So we're gonna get right off into it, man. Swamp, the new A verb of the South. Heavy shoes and a heavy topic. So I'm back at home, man. For those of you guys who don't know me, I am originally from St. Louis. So I'm back at home this weekend, and I'm really trying to like examine why I have taken to this whole South Carolina movement so tough, and I really am advocating for a lot of South Carolina battle rap artists from Swamp. Obviously, shout out to him, to Kid Chaos, to Squeako, GD, everyone else over in Swamp Town from South Carolina. But I'm really trying to like analyze like why do I like this movement so much? Why has this movement kind of like taken over my thoughts and my processes? And I think the reason is because I see a lot of similarities between the Midwest movement that was led by Aye Verb, Hitman Holla, and Ill Will, and Calico and the rest of them, and this We Are the South movement, which is led by We From South Carolina, which is right now um, is led by Swamp. Now, obviously, they all stand alone, and I think that's something that also makes them very unique. No one from that movement sounds the same. Swamp does not sound like Squeako. Squeako does not sound like Kid Chaos. Kid Chaos does not sound like GD, and so on and so forth. So you have people individually standing alone and not joining battle rap groups. And I think that initially that's why uh, a lot of my thoughts and a lot of my attention was shown towards Kid Chaos first when I did actually Swamp and then Kid Chaos. Um, I've done recaps on both of their previous battles, so go check and go back. Let's always check those videos out. But I see a lot of similarities, man, when it comes to Swamp and Aye Verb. Obviously, Swamp has a long, long, long way to go before he can have the career that Aye Verb has had and reach the plateau that Aye Verb has reached. However, I will say this: there are some similarities that you can draw from that are quite interesting when you really take a look into them. So we're gonna do just that. So coming into battle rap, my personal beliefs that Aye Verb agenda was very simple, very simple. Get money and a lot of it. Put on for St. Louis and the Midwest, and then thirdly and lastly, do it on his own and not join a battle rap group. Now, again, there's nothing wrong if you do join battle rap groups. I love. I'm a fan of Cave Gamer. I'm a fan of the Summer NWX, EFB definitely, Team Hami, Murder Av. I mean, all y'all. Like, I have love and respect for every battle rap group. But it's also something to be said for individuals that stand alone. I think when you stand alone from a battle rap group, it definitely makes things more difficult because it's a lot harder to push one individual versus pushing a whole bunch of people at one time. Obviously, that's something that the URL tried to do with the Goonies. You saw that. I mean, you still even see that now from Twerk to Ace Amin to now Drugs being on Drugs and Ryder being what is it? Riders on Summer Madness or Ultimate Madness 2, things of that nature. So Holmesy the God, Lou Castro, like so these, it's a lot easier to push all of them, and then you know what I'm saying. You put all that money behind a collective group, so you have more shots of actually something actually sticking, versus when you have to invest in the We From South Carolina movement. Although you're invested in Swamp, you also have to invest in Kid Chaos because he's his own individual entity. You also have to invest in Squeako because he's his own individual entity. So it's a lot harder for them to rise up in this battle rap thing, and I think that's why I relate to them so much is because I see a lot of the trials and tribulations that they personally are going through now. Aye Verb did this 11 years ago when he was putting on for the city. So that is really the biggest similarity that I see. And then when we really look into Verb's history, man, he's been to battle rap events where he performed, where he was the only one, or where there was very few uh, of his support system on stage with him, and he may be going against uh, a Shine where you might have all of NWX on stage, and at that point in time, I think it was all of them was on, probably Rex was in the background from Dot Mob because he's, you know what I'm saying. K Shine still recognizes Dot Mob. Shout out to K Shine too, definitely one of my favorite battle rappers. Um, so you see those similarities, and so people made Aye Verb the villain, and he made himself the villain because if you stand alone, it's a lot harder for people to like you because there's only one opinion. It's only coming from one person, and Aye Verb is not someone who really cares about other people's opinions, just like Swamp, man. So really going against the naysayers. Um, People made fun of Aye Verb's accent originally when he started rapping. Same way they make fun of Swamp and his southern twang. So I see more similarities there. But they're both confident enough in their own ability that none of this really shakes them. And that is why I think Swamp is one of the hottest rappers in the URL right now. His confidence, his professionalism, and the way he is over prepared for every battle. He can walk in with that swagger and that confidence. He can walk in with the Henny bottle. Again, you can drink Henny if you know what you about to say. Um, so the South is led by South Carolina movement, and that is, to me, that's the new Midwest movement for 2020. Again, you have the Kid Chaoses, the Squeakos, but you also have Bless the God, all individually standing on their own, but as a collective, when they come into the room. Now, for those of you guys who didn't get a chance to check out Hip Hop is Real, after the Swamp and Twerk battle, Swamp was outside, and I mean, he had about 30, 40 people with him. I think all of Marion was with him. And I'm not mad at it at all because you're not about to sit here and tell me when you go to these East Coast events, you gotta have people with you. You gotta have some type of support system if shit go left. Somebody got. I mean, you can do it by yourself, but it is you need a couple people in the room to have your back. And I think that's what that South Carolina movement is that we're good over here. We'll take the 8 versus your 80, and we'll get in that dog fight. We don't care. We don't care how many you roll with. We'll take our 8 and we good. And that's something that I can definitely respect. You see a lot of hunger in Swamp too, and that's really how Aye Verb came at it. Aye Verb used to come at battle rappers' throats. He used to come at the fans' throats. Pause on all of that. But he really used to attack them and really say, "Hey, we just want our respect." And if you listen to Swamp, that's all he's saying is, "We want our respect. I'm about to carve a lane in this whole battle rap culture out for me and my people and my community, and we about to kick in the door." It's the same thing that Aye Verb and Hitman Holla and Ill Will did. Came into the room, came into the house, knocked on the door. You ain't want to let them in. Didn't know they had the shotty. Boop, 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 boop. All up the door, and then kicked that bad boy in St. Louis. It was running battle rap at a point in time. It's not so much now. I would definitely love to see a stronger Midwest movement, but I think that's why the South right now is that new Midwest movement. That's what I'm looking into. That's what I'm attached to. Because when I look at it, you know what I'm saying, that East Coast is already established. East Coast is battle rap. Everyone who knows hip hop knows the historical references in hip hop, knows that hip hop is a East Coast thing. But then on the West Coast, you got Daylights, you got Danny Myers, you got Geechee Gotti, Rum Nitty, B. Dot, Emerson Kennedy. The list goes on and on and on. Everybody representing the West Coast, everybody representing the East Coast. The South, man, the South is where a lot of music right now is coming from anyway. Shout out to John and Bullpen, but the South is where it's at right now. If you think about Atlanta, you think about Charlotte, the Baby, and things of these natures. The South is where this music is starting to uprise. Kind of like you remember in the early 2000s with like what is it was Trillville, Lil Jon, and Eastside Boys. It was the South that was running stuff. 8 Ball, MJG, Outkast, you know what I'm saying? Goody Mob, all of them. This was the South rising up, and I feel like the South is on the verge of doing the same thing again. So, man, what do y'all think about this? Do you think I'm on the right path? Do you see the comparison? Do you see the narrative? I truly do believe that if Swamp continues on the path that he's on, this now is the South verse everybody movement, and he is one of them leaders. He's one of those pillars in that movement, man. So like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts, man. I'm engaging. Let's talk about it. I do think I'm about to start on this Ultimate Madness too and start getting to these previews for these videos. So stay tuned, stay locked in, man. It's your boy Mr. Check the Temperature, a battle rap, and we just did that, man. Y'all be safe out here.